Senator, welcome to confirmation season, which is the big job distinction between your time in the House and your time in the Senate. When you were on the Senate floor for your swearing in, was that your first time on the Senate floor?
I had been there a couple times, first on an impeachment of a federal judge, and then for the first impeachment of President Trump.
And House members technically have floor rights. They can walk onto the Senate floor whenever they want. It doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't happen very often. And I think apart from those two impeachment trials, I had not been on the Senate floor.
Yeah. I want to go to that point Benny Thompson was just addressing, this notion of, first of all, the crazy talk of Donald Trump about jail with January 6th committee members, to me, is utter nonsense. There's no judicial process or criminal process that can be applied to any members. But this question of pardons by President Biden for members of the January 6th committee.
Well, first of all, in terms of what Trump is saying, I think he has a couple intentions here. He obviously wants to try to intimidate members of the January 6th committee and others who held him accountable. We did our oversight, as Chairman Thompson was saying, perfectly appropriate and more than appropriate, necessary. But he also wants to send a message to others in the future. Don't hold me accountable. Don't try to hold me accountable, because if you do, I will jail you, or I will sic my Justice Department on you, or my FBI director on you. So he also wants to discourage any accountability in the future. This is not, I think, what people were voting for. Crime was an issue, but in California, it's smash and grab robberies, it's violent crime, it's someone gunning down a healthcare executive. It's not political retribution. In terms of President Biden, I don't think pardons are necessary. Those of us on the committee are very proud of what we did. We feel it was an important public service. What made those hearings we held so powerful is that almost all the witnesses were Republicans. Is he going to jail all these Republicans, including his own attorney general? So we're proud of our work, and I don't like the precedent of outgoing presidents then pardoning their administration or their fellow party members. The president will decide what he decides, but I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, it isn't. But so there's a lot of mythology around presidential powers as exercised by Donald Trump. For example, the notion that the president can jail someone. The president can't jail anyone. When he was interviewed on the weekend about tariffs, and the follow-up question was, would he punish business executives who raised prices after their goods were hit with tariffs? The notion that the president can punish a business executive or anyone for anything is fiction. There is no punishment that belongs in that the president of the United States has in his hands.
I think that's certainly true in terms of the criminal law. He can't simply say, this businessman said something I didn't like or did something I didn't like. But there are other ways, obviously, he can reward or potentially economically punish a business. He could charge the Justice Department to investigate them or withhold support for a merger, or potentially, in the case of Elon Musk and others, award contracts, lucrative contracts to them, or deny them lucrative contracts. So he can economically reward or potentially punish, but his threats to go after executives, prosecute them somehow, that's nonsense. He may be able to harass them through use of this abuse of the Justice Department, but we still have a court system, a functioning court system. I hope and pray we continue to have that, which protects our civil liberties and rights.
Well, every tariff Donald Trump introduces is going to raise prices, and nothing's going to happen to anyone working at the companies where those prices go up. Confirmations. You're already voting on confirmations as a new member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, where the Democrats are still moving Biden appointees for federal judgeships for confirmation.
We are. And, I think those appointments are enormously important to restore balance on the courts at really every level of the court. Most of the nominations that are moving forward right now are district court judges. I wish more of the Court of Appeals judges were getting confirmed. But the Senate, Leader Schumer, Chairman Durbin, have a pretty impressive record of moving through these confirmations, particularly the district court, and want to see that continue right up until the last day.